silang safe and responsible technology charter to guide students and teachers on appropriate technology use. But I think because meron nga ganitong mga movement in different countries to ban social media outright, I'm sure that the department is also looking at this and studying this.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. President, and with Secretary Angara at the helm of the department, I'm sure makakaasa tayo na napapag-aralan po ito. Kasi for example, no, in one of the hearings ng Committee on Basic Education last Congress, I remember, chaired by your honor himself, Chairman Win Gatchalian, yung DepEd stated that 18.05% or 103 out of 567 bullying cases has resulted in campus violence. And kasama po dito, from stabbing to gang violence, using of deadly weapons, resulted in severe physical injuries, etc. And ito po'y bahala na, and at the same time, itong cyberbullying nakakabahala na. In fact, yung Australian policy po will not punish children nor their parents. Instead, the responsibility would fall on social media platforms, Mr. President, no? And siguro if I may suggest, if we are to do something about this and if we are to study this particular kind of policy, maybe we can also integrate this. Kasi kanina si Senator Alan was talking about the GMRC law, which we all authored, Mr. President. It can strengthen, Mr. President, our efforts to teach responsible behavior, digital citizenship, and core values such as respect, self-discipline, empathy, love for family, love and respect to elders, prudence among our children, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President. Last point na lang, Mr. President. Kanina pinag-uusapan yung K-12. I cannot help but give my point of view, Mr. President. Ang tagal na natin pinangarap ito. Kaya pag sinasabi na babalik tayo dun sa dati, baka dapat pag-aralan ho natin mabuti. Kasi ang tagal ho natin pinangarap ito, no? Alam natin may mga birth pains, alam natin na hindi perfecto, gaya ni Mr. Chairman, sinabi niya, ima-manage niya, hindi, I'm happy with that, Mr. President, but just to put on record, Mr. President, despite the fact na hindi 100% na natutupad yung pangako ng K-12, is because maraming challenges, maraming problema. For example, Mr. President, in our experience, going around the country, may mga lugar na ang may offer lang na tech-book track ay yung kung ano yung available sa kanila, Mr. President. Hindi sila mag-offer ng tech-book track na kailangan or industry-led programs because wala naman silang facilities. In fact, wala nga magtuturo. Kulang nga tayo ng assessor, Mr. President. So, ito yung mga challenges pa rin, Mr. President, na kailangan natin pagtuunan ng pansin. But I feel, Mr. President, na tama yung direksyon natin na mag-K-12. But at the same time, I'm in full support of your Honor's advocacies na gawing probably 3 years ang kolehiyo. In fact, Mr. President, when K-12 is being talked about, I was with TESDA then, Mr. President, and I was proposing na gawin po instead na grades 11 and 12, yung K-12, gawin nating junior college. Yung pa nga yung proposal ko, gawin mong junior college, yung 11, yung grade 12, Mr. President. Another thing, Mr. President, that we can also think about, para mas maraming pagpipilian, mas maganda, punta tayo doon sa direksyon ng paggagawa o pagsasagawa ng supermarket of competencies. Nakita ko si Edie Carl. Yung supermarket of competencies, halos buong mundo yun yung ginagawa eh. Ang concept is you go to a supermarket with your cart, at titignan mo, ano ba yung mga kailangan mo? Kailangan ko ng ganitong units for English, kailangan ko ng ganitong units for basic accounting. Hindi ko naman kailangan ng mas malalim na katuruan sa physics, but just basic. At pagkatapos ng pupunta ka doon, yung cart mo, dala-dala mo, dadalhin mo doon sa cashier, i-assess na nung cashier kung ilang units yun. Ito ba pwede ng bachelor's degree? Ito ba pwede ng PhD? Etc. So, meron kang freedom to choose. Merong programa ang pamahalaan, point system, na makikredit. In fact, napasa na natin dito sa Senado yung ETIAP law. Napasa na rin natin yung Enterprise-Based and Education and Training Law. So, ito po yung mga pwede nating magawa, Mr. President, despite the fact that in 2018, ang PIDS said that yung mga human resources, officers, managers, revealed that 24 out of 26 firms are willing to hire senior high school graduates. Pero pag tinignan mo naman, 22 out of 26 companies have hiring conditions, such as requiring certain competencies or skills, improved work immersion, and hiring only in low positions. So again, may challenge na naman po doon. That's in 2018. 2020, puntahan natin yung report rate ng PIDS. Sabi po nun sa report, only a little over 20% of senior high school graduates participate in the labor market, and more than 70% would proceed to pursue further studies. But K-12 graduates, nakalagay po dun sa report nila, have poorer outcomes in terms of labor force participation employment and that underemployment rates. So again, Mr. President, ang key talaga dito is may offer what is in demand. Ano yung industry needs? And it has to be industry-led. Hindi ko mo, for example, Mr. President, ang available lang ay magtuturo ng paggugupit, magtuturo ng pagmamasay, and we have nothing against paggugupit at pagmamasay. Pero kung puro yun po sila, ipoproduce ng isang barangay, 200 masahista, paano kikita ho yun? 200 masahista sa isang barangay. Magmamasahe sila sa isa't isa. Hindi talaga kikita pa rin kasi sabihin na, ex-deal na lang, mamasahin kita, masahin mo ko. So, Mr. President, ito lang po yung nais nating iparating sa ating departamento, and because after last year's agency budget hearing, si Senator Angara, I remember saying, announcing that DepEd will be studying also the reduction of core senior high school subjects from 17 to just, if I'm not saying, 5 or 6, Mr. President, no? To allow din yung students more time for on-the-job training and work immersion. So, perhaps if we can also hear an update, Mr. President, tungkol po dito, kasi how will this reform also be implemented under the matatag curriculum, and how will it directly improve yung employability, kasi yun yung gusto natin talaga at the end of the day, yung employability outcomes of our senior high school students.
Thank you for that. Tama ho kayo. Lahat po ng inyong nabanggit ay tama ho, and since you are also a member of EDCOM, I'm sure narinig niyo ho itong mga problema na na-encounter po ng ating Department of Education. Ang kagandahan po, dahil nga itong senior high school natin, marami pong mga pamilya hindi ho nakikita yung kabutihan o value. Ito naman yung riniporma po ni Secretary Angara. That's why reducing core subjects for 15 to 5, pati po yung tracks. Dati may 4 na tracks po tayo, ginawa na lang 2. At yung academic track, may mga electives rin depending kung ano yung mga gustong kunin ng estudyante sa kolehiyo. So kung gusto niyo business, pwede siyang kumuha ng business electives. Pagdating naman po sa Tech Pro, tama ho kayo, ang ginawa ho nila, they now have links to industry. Nagbibigay po yung industry ng mga advice kung ano po yung mga pwedeng kunin ng mga estudyante as a, para po magamit ho nila sa kanilang Tech Pro training. But admittedly, hindi ho ganun kasimple dahil yung equipment, dahil yung partners, yung mga magtuturo, no, ito challenge pa rin pagdating sa Tech Pro. But meron na pong mga linkages between industry para po maging demand-driven yung kanilang i-offer ng mga Tech Pro courses.
Thank you, Mr. President. Last but not the least that I would like to raise is that we passed the enterprise-based education and training law, Mr. President. Full swing in implementation nito. I hope that the Department of Education will be able to use this to harmonize, Mr. President, this initiative with perhaps streamlining yung mga senior high school subjects so that both policies would work together and strengthen the work readiness and yung favorite word natin, lifelong learning pathways of our graduates. Muli, maraming salamat, Ginoong Pangulo. Salamat sa ating chairperson, sa ating secretary, sa ating ang mga undersecretaries, ASECs, and DepEd family. Mabuhay po kayo at saludo kami. Salamat po.
Maraming salamat, Senator Joel, doon sa mga suggestions niyo at Senator Angara and the DepEd team. They're listening and they'll take your suggestions very seriously.
Yes, Mr. President, next to interpolate is Senator Bam Aquino. Move that he be recognized.
Senator Bam Aquino is recognized.
Maraming salamat, Mr. President, Mr. Chairperson, and of course to my colleague who we both entered the Senate at the same time in 2013, Secretary, former Senator Angara, to the DepEd family. Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Nakapagkape na po ako. I've waited my turn. So this will only take about 5 hours, Mr. Secretary. Just kidding. So una po sa lahat, let me say that the work that the committee has put in to the budget is really exemplary. Sa totoo lang po, matatawag talagang education budget itong budget natin. So first question, layup lang sa ating chairperson. Ito po ba ang pinakamalaking pondo para sa edukasyon sa ating kasaysayan, Mr. President?
Yes, tama ho kayo, Senator Bam, na pwede ho natin tawagin education budget to because yung matagal na natin, I'm sure Senator Bam, matagal na rin yung pinapangarap na mag-breach ng 4% ngayon na-breach na natin. So to be exact, it's about 4.5% of our GDP.
Mr. President, siguro konti lang po yung nakikinig sa atin kasi gabing-gabi na, pero pwede niyo po bang explain yung kahalagahan ng breaching 4% of GDP sa mga nanonood po sa atin?
Well, mayroong international standard na sinusundan ang UNESCO at ito yung dapat ang budget ng isang bansa is between 4 to 6% of GDP. So tama, Senator Joel, matagal na nagpa-fluctuate tayo between 2%, maybe 3.7%, pero ngayon na-breach na natin yung 4% of GDP. So ngayon, ang allocation natin for the big three education, for all the education education agencies, it's about 1.38 trillion. So that's about 4.5% of our GDP.
So if I'm not mistaken, Mr. President, ngayon lang tayo nakapasok sa 4 to 6% na prescribed ng UN, no?
Tama po.
Ibig sabihin po noon, Mr. President, nasa tamang paggastos tayo pagdating sa edukasyon.
Correct. Tama ho yung direction at of course yung mga dapat nating habulin, hopefully mahabol natin this coming 2026.
Noong unang linggo, Mr. President, nag-privilege speech po tayo tungkol sa mga problema sa edukasyon. No? And we gave 7 points. Let me name them now, although I won't be going through all of them today. But yung ilan po dyan, pag-uusapan po natin. So we talked about classrooms, we talked about textbooks, we talked about nutrition, yung curriculum, and yung learner deficiency natin. We talked about employability, which directly relates to the K-12 issues natin sa grade 11 and grade 12, which our colleagues have brought up. We talked about support for teachers, the lack of internet access, or we need to improve our internet access in our schools. Yun pa lang po yung 7, no? Those are the 7 points I raised during the first week. Many of these came from the EDCOM report. And I'd also like to commend, of course, EDCOM, si ED Carol is here, who will soon be joining DepEd, if I'm not mistaken. I'd like to commend EDCOM, and of course, our chairman, who's started it all, no? Because yung EDCOM report po, as I said in my privilege speech, it was such a frank and truthful and honest, sometimes brutally honest report about our educational system. And sa totoo lang po, hindi naman natin ma-address yung mga problema kung hindi natin haharapin yung mga problema. No? And I'd also like to point out that tonight, when we started the interpellations for DepEd, all of the EDCOM commissioners were here. No? Myself, Senator Joel, Senator Alan, Senator Win, and Senator Lauren. We were all here at bantay na bantay po natin ang budget na ito. And in many ways, the program